The Gravestone Doji is a super handy little candlestick pattern that a lot of traders love using. In this episode, I'm going to show you how to calculate it in your own expert advisor on MetaTrader 5. Check it out. There's a few things that you need in order to be able to complete this episode. Firstly, you need an algorithm of some sort to add the Doji candlestick to. And it doesn't have to be anything complex, you just need to have the init, dinit, and OnTick functions at the very least. In my previous episodes, I've been showing people how to build their own RSI algorithm, and you can absolutely use that if you want. If not, totally fine, just make sure you can get the values into that candlestick. Secondly, it's really helpful to have a MetaTrader 5 terminal up and running right next to you. That will allow you to test what we're building straight away and make sure that it's working for your use case. Once you've got those things, head on over and I'll see you there. Okay, here's how we add the Gravestone Doji. Create our function here. Expert Gravestone Doji detector. Perfect. And once again, we're going to return a boolean. So bool Gravestone Doji detector. And we're going to use the same thing that we did in the previous episode for our long-legged doji, where we pass in the parameters for all of it. So we've got our open, close, high, and low. First, we're going to calculate our body size, and the body size is simply the difference between the open and the close, whatever positive values those are, and then we're going to calculate our upper shadow, which is the difference between the high and the highest value of the open or the close, and the lower shadow, which is pretty much the same thing except for the shadow that's down below. And then we're going to get our point size. Now, one of the interesting things here is that if the body is 0, which happens a lot when you're trading the 1 minute time frame, you need to do some pretty interesting little things. So here we're going to handle them a little bit different. Okay, so if body size is equal to 0, I'm going to do this. So if the lower shadow, if you think back to the picture I showed you of what it looks like, and you'll see why this makes sense, is 1 point. Sorry, is 1 point or less, and the upper shadow is at least 4 points, return true. Okay, that's pretty straightforward. And we'll put that else statement in there for future reference. Whoopsies. Okay, if the upper shadow, lower shadow is 2 points, and the upper shadow is at least 6 points, also return true. Okay, if those conditions are not met, then we're going to return false. Okay, now if you were to chart that out on your chart and have a look at them, you'd see they form these beautiful gravestone patterns. And again, if you disagree with these, like maybe you think that lower shadow should always be at least 1 point, that's totally fine. You can update this code and make that work for you. Let's get into this. So, assuming that our body size is greater than 0, we can do some other things. So first of all, we want to say the upper shadow must be at least 4 times the size of the body. Okay, so if the upper shadow is less than 4 times the body size, return false. We can also say that the lower shadow must be less than 10% of the total range. Okay, and we'll also say that the body size must also be less than 5% of the total range. Okay. If all of those conditions pass, we can return true, which is great. Given that we've taken into account all of those options, okay, we'll put a default down here of returning true. But in all honesty, I only do that for code completion. There's no way that we could get to that return statement ever. It's always going to go if, there, or not. But we'll do that. Okay. Now, using this exact same set of values that we did for the long-legged doji, we can now do a check for our Gravestone Doji. So check for Gravestone Doji. Perfect. Let's have a save, compile it, go to our MetaTrader terminal. Okay, so no Gravestone Doji, but you can see that we've got a long-legged doji which is there because the signal's bouncing around, so that's great. Alright, in the next episode I'm going to show you the final doji one, which is going to be our Dragonfly Doji. I'll see you there.